In this video, I would like to talk about one of my favourite websites, Board Game Arena. That's BOARDGAMEARENA.com. And today I'm just going to give you a brief introduction to what it is. It's a website where you play board games over the internet, either live or turn by turn, which is the way that I do it, against other people. This is what you'll be confronted with if you go there without having an account, which is really just a sort of introduction to what the site does. The way that it works, as they say here, it's free. You can pay for an account, which I haven't done, and it gives you certain advantages, basically that you get preferences in terms of starting games. It's easier for you to start games with the particular configuration that you want, although I have stuck to a free account. The other thing is it lets you choose which colour you want your pieces to be. But I've found that it doesn't disadvantage you in any of the games to not have a paid account, and I have been just as happy to keep the free one. It's based on accounts. You can't really access anything unless you create an account. I won't go through the details of that because it's very straightforward. I'll just log myself in. That's my email address in case anyone's interested. Don't spam me or send me abuse or anything. And this is what you'll get when you have an account, and this is what you'll be seeing most of the time. This bit is news, usually just the latest games they've added, and then these are sort of the previous bits of news. This one's the latest news, and then these are the ones before that. It tells you about what tournaments there are, something that I'm not all that interested in. Stats about sort of how many people are online. As you can see, it's very popular. And this little avatar, actually that's another perk of having a paid membership. If you have a paid membership, you get to choose your avatar rather than being given it. Mine's a bit hard to see, but it's a sort of cowboy on a horse. I assume it's artwork from a board game, but I don't recognise the board game if that is what it is. Anyway, this is the most important bit you'll see, because that tells you the games that you are playing. I won't go through them, but so you can make your move here if you want to, or you might decide to think about it a little bit more. Usually you have 3 days to make a move, so it's very forgiving. As with most sites of this type, you do get penalised if you start a game and then just don't make moves, so you need to be aware of that. But I think most people could probably find time to make a move every 3 days, really, so it shouldn't be that arduous. There are forums, which I haven't had much to do with. What I'll show you is the range of games that they have, which is probably the thing that you're most interested in. So I go play now. That little tumor looking thing is its loading screen. The way it works is these are games that I have either played in or started before, and so if I want to do so again, I just click that and it'll start a new game. It takes a few hours to get a game. I think that's a little bit quicker if you're a paid member, and also, as I said, you get a bit more choice if you're a paid member. For example, in this game Quantum, there's several ways for the board to be laid out, and if you're a paid member, you can choose which ones. You can start a game and choose which layout it will have. Whereas if you're a free member like me, you just have to sort of take what you can get. I usually prefer random setups, so that doesn't bother me, but it might bother other people. Um, I will say I've had some problems with this site in Google Chrome and using the Google Chrome browser. Um, I've had a problem where I can see everything that's happening, but then when I go to a game, it doesn't count me as logged in, as in it will say, oh, you've got 3 games, and I'll say, great, click. It'll take me to the first game that I'm in, but then it'll give me the screen that an observer would get, i.e., it won't let me move. It'll just show me the state of the board of all the players. So I don't know if that's just my computer. Admittedly, my computer is quite old, but I haven't had any problems with Firefox, and I haven't had any problems with um, any other browser. Brave is the other one that I use. That's not a very well-known one, but yeah, I've used Brave and Firefox, and they've both been fine. But let's say you don't. Obviously, if you have a new account, you won't have any favorites already. So instead, you can either find a game. So let's say I want to see if they have Railroad Inc. Well, I want to see if they have Seven Wonders. I mean, you can see it there, but so I start typing that, and it'll give me, as you can see, the 3 options that match with that text. Let's say I go, do you have this is just a made-up name. If I have that, it'll just, it won't give me anything, or it'll make it obvious that it doesn't have the game that I'm thinking of. The other thing you can do is just get a list of all of the games. Again, the loading screen. You can, that's the same text search. You can say, well, I only really like 4-player games or whatever, or I want a game that's going to be a bit short. I want a game that's going to be, those games are sort of shorter and usually a bit easier. These ones are probably a bit more complicated and a bit more Eurogamey. Abstract games obviously won't have very much of a theme, and so forth. Or you can go for the most popular games, or the latest games, or the games they haven't quite finished programming yet, which is what beta means. There's a message system where people look for players for games and stuff. Okay, according to this, Terra Mystica is for core gamers. I didn't realise that. Race for the Galaxy, etc. Okay. Or you might just want a complete list. Does it have a complete list? Hang on, sorry. As you can see, there's a lot of possibilities. Let's have a look at all the games I haven't played yet. And this is in alphabetical order. As you can see, there's quite a few sort of well-known games: Azul, Carcassonne, Splendor, Seven Wonders, Duel. They're all fairly well-known, or I've heard of them at least, and I'm not, super into board games. Terra Mystica, etc. It does have sort of non-commercial games, but as you can see, it has backgammon. But most of them are free versions of commercial games, and so on. So it has Oh Hell is a sort of traditional card game that nobody owns. Spades, chess. It doesn't seem to have chess variants. That's the one sort of common area of gaming that it's missing. Actually, I'm not sure this is in alphabetical order. I'm not sure what order this is in. But anyway, It does tend towards the Euro game, I think it's fair to say. But there's quite a variety there. I mean, we passed Connect 4 a while ago, which is very much a family game. Chinese checkers, another sort of family game. If you're interested in board games, I thought I'd talk about this because there's a lot of board game discussion online that I've found, but of course the people doing the discussion are mostly collectors who are very, very into board games and have hundreds of board games, and so they talk about physical board games, and that's something that not everyone has the money or the inclination to pursue, perhaps particularly during the pandemic. But even before the pandemic, I always preferred to play online. I actually preferred to buy the app versions of games to buying the physical games, just because it cuts down travel time. It's a lot easier to get a game. I don't sort of value the social element of games as much as some people do. That's a personal thing, of course. You might think that playing games without people around is, missing the point. But okay, so at the very bottom, I think that's probably poor placement to have all games at the bottom. I think they should probably have that at the top. But anyway, that's how you can look at every single game that they happen to have. So that's all I have to say about this today. What I'd like to do in future videos is go through specific games. I'll be starting with some of the ones that I've played a lot of already, but looking at new games as well. And hope, as I say, there doesn't seem to be a lot of exploration of online playing of board games or playing of board games that isn't face to face. So hopefully that's something you'll be interested in, and hopefully I will see you next time.